It's almost Thursday night, so you guys know what that means. A chance to win $26,000. Hey there, everybody. What is going on? Welcome into this episode of Winning Bets. I'm, of course, Jason Mattis. This is one of the free games that we play. It's over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app where you can win $25,000. We can correctly predict Thursday night football between the Bucs and the Eagles. Also, on the Yahoo Fantasy Slate app, we can also win $1,000. It's a mix of questions that go on throughout the entire weekend, and that one we won the jackpot on last week. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this episode once we get to it. But first, let's start with that Fox Bet Super 6 app, again, where you can win $25,000. They ask you 6 questions. All you have to do is correctly answer all 6 questions to take home that $25,000. Last week, we did pretty good. We got 5 of the 6 right. I didn't get any of the yardage right, but in terms of picking the team and the amount, we got the team right on every single one. And overall, we got 5 of the 6 questions right. So let's jump on into it. And my research for this week, you're getting now to the part of the season where you don't even want to be looking at data for the whole season. You want to start looking at it in smaller chunks. So anytime I give you guys any numbers of per game, per this, I'm looking at the last 3 games. Research was done with the last 3 games. So with that being said, let's jump on into it. All right, so the first question is who's going to score the first touchdown? If we look at the players they give us to, you get Mike Evans. He scored 4 of the 15 passing touchdowns on the season. And Godwin, he's had 2 of the 15 passing touchdowns on the season, but he also has 1 rushing touchdown on his only rushing carry of the entire season. So it's not like he's used in the running game every single game. If you look at these Eagles players, Hurts, he has 3 of the 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. Smith, he's got 1 of the 7 passing touchdowns on the season. And Sanders has 0 touchdowns, but he's by far the lead back. He leads by 27 carries, and he's also 4th in the team in targets per game, so he's definitely involved in that passing game. For this one, I went ahead and selected any other player. Give me any other player. Look, you're getting all the Bucs running backs. I absolutely like that right there. Fournette, he's the lead back of those 2, and he's used pretty heavily, so I like that. You also do get Ronald Jones. You also get Antonio Brown. Look, Antonio Brown, big home run threat there with Tom Brady. They like to go deep. Antonio Brown's having a good season, so I like that you can get him. Also like that you can get Cameron Brate. We saw how well Gronkowski was used in getting 4 touchdowns before his injury. Brate's not the level of Gronkowski, obviously, but Brate is the tight end on that on that team. Or you can even get O.J. Howard. I think Brate will end up getting maybe majority of the snaps in passing situations, but either way, you get Brate, you go Howard, and then you get from this Buccaneers rush defense. Look at this Bucs defense, because the reason why they gave you Hurts and they gave you Sanders because they expect the Eagles to have success running the ball. The Buccaneers have allowed 0 rushing touchdowns in their last 3 games, so I'm not quite sure you can rely on Sanders and Hurts to get it done. So it's any other player for me. All right, so for question number 2 is which team's going to have the most rushing yards in the amount? Look, we've talked about this Buccaneers defense in terms of how good they are. We've had this game on the NBC Sports Predictor app. We've also talked about this on my daily show, just how really good this Bucs rush defense is. So let's put that to the side and focus on this Eagles team. This Eagles team allows 156 yards per game on 4.6 yards per carry. Offensive-wise, what these teams are doing, the Bucs are actually getting more. I think that's because maybe they're leading in the 4th quarter and they're turning it into more of a run-heavy offense in those times. The Bucs are getting 92 yards per game on the ground. The Eagles are only getting 86. You would expect the Eagles maybe to get a little bit more, especially with having a mobile quarterback being able to contribute to that. But that's not the case. The Bucs are outdoing them. So Bucs have the better offense, rush offense. Bucs have by far the better rush defense. So it's easy to go Buccaneers on this one. And I'll say Buccaneers 111 to 120 yards. Question number 3 is which team's going to pass for the most yards and what's going to be the amount? Well, both of these teams pass it a ton, guys, and I mean a ton. The Eagles are number 1 in the league. They're passing it on 71% of their times. Buccaneers are right behind them. They're 4th in the league, passing the ball on 69% of their play. So, yeah, we're definitely getting 2 pass-heavy offenses here. Yards per completion, Eagles are getting 10.7 yards per completion, where the Buccaneers are getting 11.1 per completion. Yards per game, Bucs at 370, Eagles at 281. Buccaneers allow about 80 or so more yards per game, but again, that's mainly because the opponent, is in the 4th quarter trying to come back and throwing on them more. Opponent's yard per completion is basically about the same between these 2 teams. I'm going to go ahead and say the Buccaneers will have more passing yards, and the Buccaneers will have 326 to 350 yards. It's hard to ignore the big discrepancy in terms of yardage that they gain. The Eagles may call more passing plays at 71%, but the Buccaneers are just doing more damage. They have a more high-powered offense with Evans and Godwin and Brown. Give me Buccaneers 326 to 350. Question number 4 is which team's going to have the longest completion? Well, I might as well just stay on this Bucs train, right? And there's no reason hopping off this train anytime soon. I'm going to go ahead and say the Bucs on this one, and a complete guess, I'll go ahead and say 46 to 50 yards. Question number 5 is which team's going to have the most total yards? Well, the Buccaneers are the better team. I think they should be able to run the ball more, and they should be able to pass the ball more, as I answered questions 2 and 3 earlier. Simple math would put me in the range of 437 to 470. So I'll go ahead and say the Buccaneers will have the most total offensive yards, and they'll have 451 to 475 yards. And question number 6 is always, who's going to win the game and what's going to be the win margin? I like to focus on a few key stats of ones that we haven't already talked about in terms of rushing and passing, offense and defense. I like looking at third down conversion. How well do these teams do converting third downs? Buccaneers are third in the league at 53%. Eagles are way down at 38%. So that to me is a really, really big gap. In terms of the defense getting off the field on third down, Buccaneers are at 45% and the Eagles are at 54%. So bad combination there for the Eagles. They allow over 50% of their third downs to be converted by that offense, and the Buccaneers are doing over 50%. So that could be where, this game really gets out of hand here for the Eagles if they're not able to get off the field on third downs. If you also look at opponents' red zone scoring TD percentage, Eagles are at 83%, Bucs are at 67%. So give the Eagles credit. When they do get in the red zone, they're certainly be able to punch it in for the touchdown a lot more often. If we go ahead and look at that same thing, opponent red zone scoring TD percentage, this is basically the same. So defensive wise, we're about the same in terms of allowing a touchdown once they get in the red zone. Turnover margin, Bucs are at plus 1.3, Eagles are at plus 0.3. In penalties per game, the Eagles are getting 9.3 to the Bucs 6.7. So that is not good right there. I'm going to go ahead and take the Buccaneers in this one. Look, I think they've got the better team, obviously overall, like their defense, like their offense, like their ability to, stay on third down on offense, get off third down on defense. I think they'll be able to turn the Eagles into a one-dimensional team like they do a lot of teams because of their great rush defense. I'm not sure that Jalen Hurts has the ability in him anywhere to kind of keep it close. I know this will be at home, so that'll kind of favor them, but Tom Brady, the Buccaneers, they got it back together last week up against the Dolphins after a bad performance there with New England with the circumstances of the emotions and the weather. They got back on track against the Dolphins, and I think they'll just carry that on into this Thursday night. So I got the Bucs winning this game by 9 to 10 points. It will be 9 to 10 points will be that victory there for the Bucs. So that's how we'll do it on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Let's go ahead now, move it over to the Yahoo Fantasy Slate app where we can win $1,000. And last week we were victorious. We won this jackpot last week. We went 7 for 7. 2 of those picks were underdog picks, so it wasn't all chalky. You had to actually, use the research and dig deep because 2 of them were underdog picks. And that's now the second jackpot we've hit on this Yahoo Fantasy Slate app. I know this past week wasn't that big of a winning a little over $1, but I can't do anything about the amount of people that also get it right. You guys remember the first time we won a jackpot here last season, we won $28. So let's see if we can't give you guys the winning picks again this week, and hopefully it's just a few of us that can go ahead and cash this sucker here. So question number 1, will the Bucs win by 7 or more? I do think the Bucs will win by 7 or more. I like how they give us that number 7 to factor into this question. So we'll go ahead and take them to win by 7 or more. Eagles, Bucs over 51.5 points. I'm going to go ahead and take the over. The over is doing nothing but climbing at the sports books. This thing will get up to about 53 points. I think by the time the game closes, it's already up to 52 at the sports book. So give me over 51.5. Will Jalen Hurts be the leading rusher? I think he will be the leading rusher for his team because the reason I think it'll be Jalen Hurts is great rush defense of the Buccaneers. They're not going to get a whole hell of a lot of yards rushing the ball as is, but you get the Jalen Hurts breaking down with a scramble, on a pass play that turns into a running play, gets yards. And secondly, with all that, RPO, read option kind of stuff, I think the quarterback will have a little bit more success than the running backs will in this game. So that's why I'll go ahead and say Jalen Hurts. Question number 4 is which Bucs player will get the most receiving yards? I'm going to go and say Antonio Brown. He's the big hitter on this team. I've got a real bet that I gave out on my daily show on Tuesday's episode on Antonio Brown. Big on Antonio Brown this week. I'd like to him just have another big game like he's already had a few times earlier this season. Now let's move it over to some college football questions. Will Georgia win by 24 or more? I'll go ahead and say no. I mean, Georgia's been really good, but Kentucky's also been really good. They got a really good defense. They won't be at home this time, so that'll hurt them a little bit. But 24 points is a lot when you have a good Kentucky defense, so I like them to keep it a little bit close. Georgia will still win that game, obviously, but it won't be by 24 or more points. Who's going to win between Ole Miss and Tennessee? I'll go and say Ole Miss. They're favored. They got the Heisman hopeful. So Eli. Answer it, Eli. Eli was the quarterback at Ole Miss. Peyton was over there at Tennessee. Go ahead and take Eli. Eli is going to get the better of Peyton on this one. And who's going to have more points, rebounds, and assists in this WNBA game? It's Candace Parker. When you look at the stats, it's fairly easy. Candace Parker, so go ahead and give me Candace Parker. All right, that's how we're going to do it, guys. $25,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, $1,000 over on the Yahoo Fantasy Slate app. Let's see if we can win us another jackpot. Enjoy these games, and we'll see you back here next week on Thursday night. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.